Hello, it is Keegan here, and today I'm bringing you week number 2 of the BBR. Super excited for this week, a chance at redemption after a pretty poor performance last week, all things considered. I think we could have done a lot more to win that game, but this time out, I really like the build that I brought, and I think it's going to be really good into this matchup. If you're excited for today's video, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you have not already. My goal is 1,000 subscribers this year. We've been doing awesome so far this year. All the support is greatly appreciated. So this week we're playing against GentlemanThomas, and he's got a really powerful team. So his team's on screen now: Gouging Fire, Ogerpon-Wellspring, Necrozma, Rotomosh, Overquill, Diancie, Donphan, Iron Crown, Mienshao, Mismagius, and Munchlax. Those top 3 are super difficult to prep for. They all have some setup aspect of them that can be really powerful. Necrozma's well known for that, for those who have played a lot of Ultra Sun and Moon. Ogerpon usually is going to operate in the breaker role. I did get wrong last week that the Fire Ogerpon could wear a Choice Scarf. I knew that in prep, but I screwed it up in the team builder, so apologies for that. But it also has SD applications as well, something that can be taken advantage of in this matchup against my specific game plan. And then DD Gouging Fire. This mon is bulky as all hell, and is going to be a very good setup sweeper in this matchup. Now, I do have the Palafin, as you saw on the team, which is actually a really good answer to this. So I think he's probably not going to bring setup for that specific reason. I don't really have to ever give him a reason to to damage Palafin outside of the Gouging Fire. So likely no DD Gouging Fire this week. In terms of my side of the matchup, my Palafin has a difficult time in this matchup. I kind of have to specialize it into a certain role to be able to take advantage of something like the Ogerpon. It gets really walled down by the Rotomosh. Unless I can be, unless I can get in my bag and predict with a close combat, it's really going to be difficult for me to catch that Rotomosh with my Palafin. Meowscarada is going to be one of the really good Pokemon in this matchup, as it does in pretty much every matchup. It outspeeds everything, and that's one of my big kind of tenets in building in Draft League, especially in modern era Pokemon, is having the fastest Pokemon in the matchup. Usually does a lot to kind of build the matchup around that Pokemon. It really focuses in the type of sets that you can bring. And this Meowscarada is going to be a perfect example of that. It checks stuff like Choice Scarf, Rotomosh, depending on the EV spread. It can check, Gouging Fire in a pinch. Ogerpon-Wellspring, it does a good job checking Necrozma, Diancie. There's a lot going on for this Pokemon in this matchup. Raging Bolt also has a really decent matchup. The only thing that really prevents it from going crazy is the Donphan. Now, even Spit F Diancie, with the set that we have, we'll talk about how much it takes from Thunderbolt, but even that is not a long-term answer as well. So a lot going on for me in the top half of my build. Looking down the rest of the build, there's nothing super exciting. Obviously, Palafin will be a good defensive option. Clefable was a consideration at some point, but not really anything that can do productive in this matchup. It invites Iron Crown, which is actually really good against the team I brought, but against my team in general, it doesn't really make a lot of progress, so it's really difficult to bring that Pokemon. So that's the matchup. Let's get right into the team. So let's get into the sets now. We have Palafin here, Rindo Berry, Acrobatics. This is going to be my lure for Ogerpon. I have a tough time answering Ogerpon long term in this game. I have a lot of good ways to check it in the mid game if it's dealt damage, but switching into it regularly is going to be difficult. So I have to lure it into a false sense of security and kill it at some point in this game. And this, I think, is a really good way to do it. Jolly 184 speed covers off the Gouging Fire as well. So if I need to Wave Crash instead of Jet Punch in a situation, I do have access to that. It also lets me to close combat on that Pokemon and allow me to cover the Rotom-Wash switch in potential as well. Jet Punch is just a good win condition as well in this game. If you look at his team, once that Ogerpon and Rotomosh are out of the way, Jet Punch does a really good job cleaning up what he has left over. Next up is Meowscarada here, just a heavy duty boots basic Jolly Protean set this week. We have spikes mainly because we don't have a setup sweeper this week. So I want to have a way to get that long, that damage over the course of the game without having to worry about a takeover mechanism at the end game. So spikes are going to be really crucial to open up my calcs for the Palafin, for the Raging Bolt, and for the Iron Jugulus, which is going to act as our win condition for this game. 2-hit attack is all that's really required in all of the calcs with this Pokemon. That allows me to 2-hit KO Necrozma with knockoff if it's uninvested. None of the other calcs really came up as needing more attack, so that allowed me to run a lot more bulk this week, which can basically be majorly relevant against something like the Scarf Rotom-Wash, which is a possibility of coming, so I don't have to worry about getting picked off in the late game. Jolly 152 speed covers the Ogerpon-Wellspring, so it allows me to U-turn all over that Pokemon if it tries to come in and check me. Choice Specs Raging Bolt here. This is going to be our dedicated lead in this matchup. If he doesn't bring the Dawn Fanny, it's a really, really difficult time switching in on this Pokemon at all. Not really a lot that he can do. I can just drop Dracos and Thunderbolts, and he has really almost no counterplay to this Pokemon. The main thing I was alluding to in the team builder with this is actually Spidef Diancie gets 2-hit KO by Thunderbolt a certain percentage of the time, and I think there's the likelihood he runs some defensive bulk in it as well to potentially catch Palafin Jet Punches. Depending on his Terra type, he can be Terra Fairy or Terra Water in this matchup, so that's something I think that he'll probably run some defense EVs for, and then that puts it pretty much in range of the Thunderbolt 2-hit KO from Choice Specs on switching. I have 100 speed in this. That allows me to outspeed Min Speed Necrozma and then Min Speed Rotom Wash. That'll allow me to get Dracos off on both those Pokemon or Volt Switches just to get myself into better momentum. And then 156 defense allows me to handle Ogerpon better defensively. This is kind of my first defensive switch into Ogerpon. This is kind of where I was alluding to that Swords Dance is going to be potentially really crucial for him if he has it, because Swords Dance plus Play Rough is really, really tough for me to play around with this team. Okidogi was kind of an interesting one this week. I didn't really know what to run in this final slot. I do my team builders in draft order, so that's why it's kind of coming up now. And I had Clefable in the spot for the longest time. It's a good unaware mod for Necrozma in the late game, but I decided to go with Okidogi just as an additional way to pressure my opponent's team. I have 60 speed for Necrozma and Rotom Wash at their kind of mid-speed, low-speed variant type of sets. Toxic is kind of odd on Toxic Chain Okidogi. You wouldn't really think to run that. But this gives me a guaranteed Toxic against Necrozma if it wants to switch in on a close combat. And then I have General Stab, Close Combat, Poison Jab, and then Knock Off just for general pressure against my opponent's team. Iron Jugulus here is the end game sweeper. We do have 232 speed. That is all we need to cover off this Mismagius, and we are booster speed, so we've brought the special attack down to make sure we hit that speed every time. Gives us a little bit of bulk, which is nice, but this is the win condition in the end game. His team is very, very Iron Jugulus weak. Once everything has been whittled down and chipped, it's just a great way to clean off the entire team in the end game. Even Choice Scarf Rotom Wash has a difficult time killing this from full, so if we've chipped that as well, we can Dark Pulse that twice, hopefully get a flinch too, and then be able to pick that one off. So not really much going on here, just an endgame sweeper. Click Dark Pulse, Air Slash, Earth Power, kill the whole team. And then the final Pokemon on the build is Palafin. This is my check to the Gouging Fire. I do have Scorching Stance this week because Earth Power doesn't actually change any of the calcs on Gouging Fire, so that allows me to get free burns on something like Ogerpon that might try to aggressively switch in. Sludge Bomb is another way to kind of deal something like that. I'm probably never going to click it, but it allows me to get some poisons in situations where that might be relevant. And then this is my rocker for the week, so get up Stealth Rocks early and often and make sure those are up to pressure not only the Gouging Fire, but stuff like the Rotom Wash that might want to switch in regularly to take some hits from my opponent, from my team. So that is the team for this week. Super excited for this game against Gentleman-Thomas, and let's get right into it. All right, welcome to the battle. We have already got the team, so we know what we're going up against, and I am actually pretty excited for this now. So if you look at his team, he's brought Gouging Fire, Ogerpon-Wellspring, Necrozma, Diancie, Overquill, and Rotom Wash. Choice Specs Raging Bolt actually does a number on his team. He has to be specifically Spidef Diancie, and with leftovers, it is like never a 2-hit KO in except 0.4% of time. So for Tiro, who is watching on me on Deafen, he would get that percentage against me. But I had to get him with that. But if he has not fully Spidef on that thing, or not like a Selfist or anything, then Choice Specs guy just picks up a kill here. And if he leads with something like Ogerpon, I drop a Draco. If he leads with Gouging Fire, I go Palossand. If he leads Overquill, I drop a Draco. This Choice Specs Raging Bolt leads and gets a guy here pretty much immediately. So good luck, have fun. To Thomas, super excited for this. Really want to get back into the winning column after a pretty rough start. I can even just T-Bolt this Overquill. This Overquill almost dies to to Thunderbolt. It doesn't do a lot back to me. And I think that a lot of that's going to be because... Oh, dude, I almost saw my capture card crash, dude. A lot of the reason... Yeah, this Raging Bolt's going to do really, really well. I have all my extra bulk into defense for Raging Bolt, specifically for the Ogerpon in this situation. So that's going to be good to allow me to live, take a hit plus play rough from that. So let's see what he elects to lead off with. He leads with the Diancie. Okay, so that's actually a really good lead for him in this spot, because this is a 2-hit KO either way. Now let's see, are you Stealth Rocks? Let's see, he's probably Spadef. What's this Spadef speed drop nature? Dude, I'm so bad at remembering those. Sassy. Oh yeah, +6 knock him out even if they sassy. Duh. So if he's like, Moonblast is doing a lot here. He could very much just be Assault Vest and hit me with a Moonblast here, which would be kind of problematic. I mean, I live a lot of hits from this. Dude, I'm already panicking. Let me think about this. I can just go into Palafin here. I think he's just going to get up his rocks if I had to be... But I need health on this. So as much as I think he's just going to get up his rocks, or beat Terra, I think he's going to beat Terra. I'm just going to go into Palafin. I don't think he can beat Terra Water. In this spot, Terra would go off first. So, I mean, that was kind of maybe playing scared a little bit there, too much, and he's just going to set up the spike. Yeah, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Really would have liked to have obviously... I mean, I could stay in and kill that, but I don't... Yeah, I don't know. Not sure how I feel about me making that play there. So I can get up my own rocks. My own rocks are obviously going to be very, very good to pressure his team. Opens up a lot of calcs. It opens up the calc on this guy, for example, which is super crucial. Opens up my end game very, very nicely. Obviously, like, I can deal a lot with Scorching Sands. He's probably just going to honestly get all of them up here, which is like really, really annoying. I really, really don't like that at this point. It's gonna put a lot of pressure on my Palafin, on my... I'm gonna get up my Stealth Rocks. I think getting up my Stealth Rocks is really important here. He's gonna switch. So we know that this is a Spikes lead. It's probably like Spikes 3 attacks would be the first thing to think about. And he does go into this. Now, he does only have one layer of Spike up, which is nice. Now, if he SDs... SD Play Rough is a friggin' problem in this spot. I might have to you know, launch my booster item here immediately to deal with that. I might have to like U-turn into this. Yeah, I think that early turn just... I probably could have just... refocus, don't let the... So +2 Jolly Play Rough does kill. He has to actually click it here in this spot. I don't think he'll go for it immediately. I could go into my Ogie Dogie as a mid-ground here. I think he's just going to water move. I think it's his safest move. And I'm just going to go into my Raging Bolt here. Try to continue to put... I have to put pressure on his team here at this point. Not putting the pressure on Diancie early has got me on the back foot a little bit. And I do have the defense to take this on. He is going to like to knock off, which is really, really frustrating here. As I lose my choice spec. So I lose a lot of my way to put a bunch of damage on this early. That knockoff did about 100. Is it like is this bulky somehow? 10. Yeah, it looks to be about Jolly 252. So Play Rough never kills here. So I do get to drop a Draco for free. But I do think he has to switch out here. I don't think there's a way that he stays in, and he is going to U-turn. Okay, perfect. So unfortunately, my Raging Bolt didn't get to provide a lot of utility early on here. I did have to... I could have made an aggressive play to get it to get up value, but unfortunately, we're not going to get that value here in this spot. He's likely going to get into his Diancie here. Perfect. So that means we're going to get to Volt Switch out into my Meowscarada here, most likely, is I think what I'm going to want to go into here. So Meowscarada doesn't actually pick up any kills. I could just go into Palafin, actually. Palafin, you know, will threaten this even in the baby form, and I do want to get this thing into the big guy form as much as possible. So I think what I want to do is go into Palafin. I think he's going to go into Rotom Wash after this to kind of take some damage. So he does reveal to be leftovers, which is good. So with this damage, Wave Crash does kill, and he should know that. So I think he's going to probably go into Rotom Wash here. I don't see a reason for him to attack. So I think what I want to do here is actually go out into my Raging Bolt in the spot. And the reason I want to do that is to, one, I don't have Flip Turn. Flip Turn would have been nice in this spot, but I do keep up my pressure. I have lost my choice specs at this point, so I do kind of have to be mindful of that. I do have to be mindful of what how this thing wants to Terra. So now, if I have to sack off my thing to do this, then it has kind of lost a lot of its utility by not being in the correct form. So he has Baton Pass. Interesting. So I guess his plan was to... So BBR, that's actually a good set in this spot, because he knows he can live the flip turn. He would have actually lost that to the wave crash potentially if he spit F, which I think is most likely for him to be spit F in this spot. Open up BBR. So he could be Fairy or Water in this spot. So he's probably definitely Fairy. I would have expected maybe a Terra at that point in time to lose the rock typing against my Palafin to maybe bait me into staying in, but he's elected not to do that. So let's see what he wants to bring in here. There's not a lot of good things that he can bring in, actually, in this situation besides the Ogerpon. Now, his Ogerpon has to play rough to make this play, which, you know, it might, certainly. One thing, now that I know that he does not actually bring in... He brings in Gouging Fire. So it does take rocks damage. It's probably just going to go for Dragon move. I'm just going to go into Palisand. This is what the guy's here for. Let's use him to his fullest extent, and let's save timer here, because this might be a game where I need to actually leverage my timer to make decisions at some point. So I think, you know, he could sub, but I have Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands should break every substitute, and after rocks, it's a 2-hit KO either way. So you could make an aggressive double. I think an aggressive double into me is difficult to make because Draco Meteor protecting against Dragon Dance is a pretty reasonable play for me to make at this spot. So I don't think he actually has the ability to do something like that here. So I'm going to just make the simple play, because the simple play, you know, still leads me into a good spot, which is damage on the Gouging Fire. And it leaves this thing as a way to continue to Draco pressure something like the Rotom Wash and the Necrozma in the late game. Flare Blitz. Okay, so he's just going to click Flare Blitz. That is going to do a lot of damage. I'm going to say that's probably a decent chance to be Choice Banded. That's actually a decent click on his part. Flare Blitz, yeah, this has to be Choice Band, right? Yeah, to do that much damage, it has to be Choice Banded. So what does Choice Banded leave me in terms of like the ability to make another play? And does he want to just attack again? This thing now is in range of like everything, which is the most important part at this point. Him being in range of everything opens up my Iron Jugulus endgame. It opens up kind of all of the endgames that I have. I think I'm just going to sack this off. I'm going to shore up in case he gives me an opportunity to keep this guy around, and he's going to just Flare Blitz. Alright, goodbye Palisand. You did a decent job here to threaten this guy. But alas, it was not enough here today. So one thing I want to check is I want to check the Ogerpon-Palafin calc with the Ivy Cudgel on Rindo Berry. So actually it does live here. So what I want to do is actually Jet Punch and bait that Ogerpon in and get my lure going. I think that's how I want to play this right now, because certainly I can get the Jet. So I get the Jet Punch off. He brings out probably the Ogerpon. He has to think Ogerpon can answer this, right? Especially the, Rindo Berry into Acrobatics is the only way that this doesn't, solve that problem. So I'm just going to Jet Punch. Let's just get this guy out of here. Let's see if he lets me take it. And he is going to let me take it. So Palafin, Burger Flipper Palafin, gets his first kill of the season. Coming through here, showing the power of Jet Punch. And come on, bring out Ogerpon. You know you want to. you want to bring out Ogerpon and play into my Resist Berry. Surely you want it, right? Yeah, because without the berry, this should do like 1 million damage to this Ogerpon. Oh, this is the regular Ogerpon. I'm the bot. Yeah, this will do a lot of damage. With Power Whip, Surf's up. Alright, well, he's brought it in. So, I do take... Wow, this does actually kill now. I should have put this into defense. The Power Whip does actually kill from this range. Which is actually kind of... Oh, no, I'm still in the Bozo form. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm still in the Bitch Boy form. This actually always lives. Dude, this is the one part that sucks about Palafin. Is this stupid form. So this always lives and this always kills. So I'm just going to go for the acrobatics here. Playing into the, hoping he plays into the resist barrier. I think he's going to if he's brought it in here. And Palafin has then picked up his 2 biggest threats, which, is exactly what I was looking to do with this in this matchup. He does power whip. Nice. Do not crit me. Do not crit me. Yes, we live. And we pick up the Ogerpon here with the acrobatics. Perfect lure, perfect situation. And that has, worked like a... That is, worked like a dream right there. And we are in such a good spot. We've answered the Gouging Fire. We've answered the Ogerpon. The Palafin daters, the Palafin downers are crying. And we're in a really, really good spot right now. He has to bring in Rotom Wash at this point. And at this point, I think I just sacked this off for damage. Obviously, I can't switch on Stealth Rocks again, which is a problem. So we'll just sack this off for damage. It should outspeed pretty much everything left on his team at this point. And now at this point, we're looking really, really good for the end game. Now, I would say we're looking really, really good for the end game for the, what's it called? Actually, we have Flash Cannon, so we are looking really good for the end game with Iron Shugilus. I still want a little bit more damage on that, what's it called? On that Diancie, though, and we need a little bit more damage here. So I'm just going to go for the close combat and try to pick up that damage in this spot. Because I think that's where I'm going to be able to get it the most efficiently here. I think he's probably going to just Volt Switch, if I had to guess. He's Choice Scarf. Oh, okay. Interesting. So Choice Scarf, Rotom Wash. That's good to note. Because that, that does make this a little bit more difficult to maneuver around in the end game. But Palafin has, effectively traded for what we were looking to trade it for. Which was a lot of damage. Which was for his 2 biggest threats, which is Ogerpon and Gouging Fire. So that was just, mission accomplished there. But now we have to position our endgame, really effectively because of that Rotom Wash. So Choice Scarf Rotom Wash is a little bit of a problem. Because he has spikes instead of rocks, I think we should still be fine against that specific type of set. So he's going to bring out this. He's going to get some leftovers back. I think I could just bring in Meowscarada. I kind of forgot a little bit that I had this Meowscarada on my team. Meowscarada actually does a lot here to really push past his team. He could go into Fairy, but then he could... nothing he's really doing does a lot to Meowscarada. So I'm just going to bring in Boots Masquerada, go for a Flower Trick, and try to do as much damage as possible. If he brings in the Necrozma, then I can knock off into U-Turn. That's perfectly fine. Flower Trick doesn't really have a good switch in at this point, so I'm just going to click Flower Trick. If he goes Fairy, that's perfectly fine. I've removed the Dark typing, which is the real problem in terms of taking damage from this thing. What is my speed versus... I mean, he's going to be able to outspeed with Scarf Rotom. So as long as I think I stay above half, then I should be at low risk against that Rotom Wash in this game. And he has no good way to switch into this. I'm guessing he has to be Fairy. He could be... I don't think he can be Water in this matchup unless he wanted Water to take on the Palafin somehow. But yeah, he reveals to be surely Fairy type. There's no way he's not Fairy type, right? Yeah, he's Fairy type. Okay. So this was kind of expected because we're Protean, we're losing that Dark typing, which is really what we need here in this spot. So we're going to do Protean into Grass type, hopefully deal a million damage. Yep, that does a good amount of damage. Any Moonblast, that's perfectly fine. We're going to take a decent amount, but not too much. Yeah, that should be fine to still manage to Scarf Rotom. And we continue to break this thing. Breaking this thing was one of the most important things we needed in this matchup. If I look at Rotom, Wash, Choice Scarf against this thing, it's still... Well, we still aren't taking... Meowscarada's not dying to this thing, anytime soon. And that's Timid. I guess if it's Modest, a Modest Scarf actually does have a 1 roll that kills, which is kind of funny. But I should just be able to Flower Trick here again and pick up the knockout. He's going to withdraw. Hopefully he doesn't have a Rocky Helmet in the back. I could have U-Turn there, but U-Turn is kind of a bozo play, I think. He's just going to go into Overquill, take some Rocks damage, get an Intimidate off. And as long as this doesn't have, Rocky Helmet, then we're still in a good position. He does not. Okay, perfect. So now we still have Meowscarada as our check there. So now I can just go straight into my Okie Dokie. Keep it simple here. Don't really need to do anything else to play around that. Okie Dokie is kind of our check here. Now he could double out here into the Necrozma. That would be a really good play on his part. I probably could have U-turned here actually. U-turn actually protects against that just like a little bit. That would have been maybe the more optimal way to path this turn. Yeah, it would have been, I think. But I don't think he would. I think he's just going to attack. Probably. He could be... I don't think he can even outspeed with Scarf, to be honest, depending on the set. And he's just going to throw a trap, yeah. Like, this is perfectly fine. He gets a crit, which is fine. Now the question here is, what do I want to click? I have a lot of... So now at this point, Necrozma has a tough time switching in. And once again, I really only need a little bit of chip on that Necrozma. I can go for the knockoff here. Knockoff is pretty safe. I could go for close combat. Close combat does actually kill him from here. So he might, you know, he's probably going to switch. So I'm just going to knock off here. He actually stays in, interestingly enough. He was Rocky Helmet. Oh, Flower Trick probably ignores Rocky Helmet A, doesn't it? Oh, he taunts. Okay, perfect. So I don't have to worry about the extra damage here. I think surely he probably knows that close combat kills. And he probably wants to set up a scenario. How much does Necrozma... Like, I'm protecting myself against no speed Necrozma here. Like, if I close combat the Overquill, and like I knock off the Necrozma, like I'm still in a really good spot to win with my booster energy guy. I don't think he takes the opportunity to switch out here. Does he? I think I'm going to close combat. He might switch here, actually. But then I pick up a lot of damage, and I force him to kill me, which is really what I'm looking to have him do. I'm trying to force him to kill my Okie Dokie. He is going to switch here. Probably to Necrozma. He goes into this. Okay, that's actually perfectly fine. This being gone then actually really opens up. This actually really opens up the... so Okie Dokie gets another kill. Okie Dokie's been doing great this season. So I think he probably goes Rotom Wash here. I think because of the fact that he probably has to, I think. It's the most logical option for him to take here. And if he goes Rotom Wash, I give him the Raging Bolt, I think. And if he Volt switches, then I just Draco what's in front of me and either hope to get a lot of damage and sack it off. Because if he goes to Necrozma, I definitely Draco. And if he kills me, then I just go into my Meowscarada. Meowscarada should be able to actually clean up the rest of this game. The combination between Meowscarada and Iron Jugula. So I think this game, I think we have it right now. But we have to be very mindful of how we path this endgame. That Palafin lure was just so powerful in this spot. Alright, here comes this guy. Necrozma, the problem. This Pokemon, quite disrespectfully, is really broken. Okay, so what are the options that I have here? So if I knock off, I do a lot of damage. If he tries, so he's probably either bulky. So he's either bulky, which means I'm probably going to do about like 40-ish. And hopefully get a Toxic. If he's like fast and just attacks me, then I can just go into Meowscarada and just set up the end game with Iron Jugulus. We're at the point now where we can kind of get closer to that. I think I'm just going to knock off here. If I switch any DDs, like this is just wraps. And if he just straight up attacks and is slower, I can go into my Raging Bolt afterwards. So I'm just going to knock off here. He is just going to be faster and attack. Okay, so he is just a fast... He is just fast. Okay. So I can bring out Meowscarada here. I can go for the U-turn. I kind of like, actually, yeah. The fact that he's faster changes this kind of a little bit. So I can U-turn, sack Raging Bolt. I kind of like U-turn sack Raging Bolt, actually. And the reason that I like that is I can bring in Meowscarada again. And then at that point I can knock off, and then he doesn't have an out, I don't think, to this game. I think, yeah, my out here, because if he somehow fucking Choice Scar, Photon Geyser will not do anything to me. So I think that's my out here. As I U-turn off of this Pokemon, he has to Dragon Dance here to have an opportunity to win this game. But we just U-turn off of this Pokemon, go into Raging Bolt, and then we knock off, and then we should be able to win the game from that spot. Because then I can U-turn on the Overquill into my booster speed, Iron Jugulus, and that should be the win condition at that point. As I do have Earth Power. So I should be able to guaranteed kill that Pokemon. And then I also get a Dark Pulse off on the other thing. So let's see what he goes into. If he stays in... Alright, he is actually going to allow me to U-turn on this thing, which is... Yeah, I think this unlocks the win condition. This is actually really bulky. Okay. But that's perfectly fine. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that may be... Uh-oh. This could be a problem. Well, this could be danger. Let's hope he just attacks. Surely he just attacks, right? Alright, he Moonlights, actually. Oh, this is danger. Actually, I think this is still fine, because then I can bring my boost. He hasn't... Well, if I knocked off, that could have been good, but... Dark Pulse, I think, still opens up this game. Because then I can still kill the Overquill. Man, I should have noted how much damage Overquill had taken at this point. I actually don't need to attack here, because I can bring in the Iron Jugulus. Well, I'm going to drop a Draco, see what he does here. Ah, fuck, he attacked. This is not good. The fact that he's faster, though, means he can't do this again. Alright. this endgame Necrozma might actually get me here. Alright, This endgame Necrozma might actually get me here. How do I beat this? Knockoff is not doing enough. Well, if he Moonlights, it's doing enough. So how much does... Am I in... Do I have to... This also gives me another out against his team, which is nice. The fact that this is in the back. Okay, I have to think this through. So if I bring this in, I Dark Pulse twice. What move would he have to kill me in this position? Like, he can't have... He has Photon... Calm Mind, Moonlight, Photon Geyser... Probably like a Flash Cannon or something, or a Fairy move, like a Power Gem. Well, we're going to bring this in and just start Dark Pulsing. So if I get a flinch, then I win the game. Still. So I have the out to a flinch here. Yeah, I have the out to a flinch. Alright, let's go for it. Yeah, wow, this is actually really, really good bring by him. This endgame Pokemon. I thought I had kind of wrapped it up a little bit, but... He's probably in a tough spot here. Well, what would be preferable is if he killed me. I think if he kills me... well, what would be preferable if I get the hacks? Any hacks? Alright, he's just going to Calm Mind up. Oh, if I U-turn, this might have been better too. What are the Meowscarada rolls here? Flower Trick is doing more. I mean, if I flinch him here, I think I should be fine. If I flinch him, this isn't even 2 KO on a flinch, doesn't it? No, fuck. Wow. This endgame Pokemon did a lot. I maybe should have Volt Switched the first time. I really have to figure out how I win here now. Maybe I should have just Toxic. Maybe I should have just Toxic instead of trying to knock off. Or no, this was faster. I guess I had no opportunity to Toxic with the Okidogi. I think my out is just to flinch this guy. Or get a crit. Alright, flinch? No, he Moonlights. Alright. He still doesn't have, like... Like, this positioning is still not, like, you know, I still have the chance to crit or flinch him at any point. Okay. Well. Oh, please don't tell me I bricked my whole recording doing that. Oh, yes, Heat Wave. Okay. Well. Oh. Man, and the fact that the recording might be gone too is super annoying. Alright, I have to go into this. What's my out here? Crit knockoff, I guess? Crit knockoff doesn't even do it. Either. Well, knockoff I think is probably the move. I just have to click it. That was actually a really good bring on his part to endgame me here. I didn't really have like a way that I could play into this, unfortunately. Alright, I think my recording's fine. And Heat Wave is going to kill me, and I think I lose this game. Yeah, endgame to Krosma. It was looking really, really good at the start. I picked up a lot of good damage across his team in the early game, but the endgame to Krosma was just super, super powerful with weakness policy. And I just died of spikes with that in front of me. So good game to Thomas there. One to look back for sure, because I think there was potential opportunity to win there. I think going for the knockoff the first time was probably okay. Maybe I don't think I can ever hard Scarada there. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that set just was really, really good in the end game against my team, and I maybe could have had Toxic on something else, but unfortunately we are going to lose that game. We play against OG Albina next week, which will be another tough game, but nothing we haven't rebounded from before. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day.